How Gen X Got Things Done Without the Noise isn't just a catchy title. It embodies the ethos of an entire generation. Born between the mid-1960s and the early 1980s, Generation X grew up in a world markedly different from today's digital age. With a mantra that could well be summed up by their approach, "We did not run our mouth, we just did it." This generation exhibited a unique blend of resilience, independence, and practicality. Unlike millennials and Gen Z, Gen X...
Today I'm going to be checking out how Gen X got things done without the noise. Or should I say, how the slackers got things done without the noise. They probably weren't doing anything, they were slacking, right? This one is from Generation X Insight. I've checked out one or two of their videos. Very informative, interesting topics that they be talking about. And this is another one I decided to check out. So definitely check the link in the description to this video if you guys want to see the entire thing. And definitely check out their channel, consider subscribing. They got a lot of this kind of content that I think a lot of you guys will be interested in. Always going to shout out the Patreon. If you guys want to get that Gen Z perspective on some 70s and 80s classic albums, movies, and sitcoms, then definitely consider checking it out. I put some stuff that I've recently dropped on there, and I'll probably have a lot more on there as of recent. So definitely give it a look if you guys are interested. It'll be great to support the channel if you guys love my content. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well as turn on those notifications so you guys don't miss another one of these epic videos. And of course, like the video if you guys want to see more. And also let me know what other things you guys want me to check out. But guys, with that being said, let's get straight into this video. Let's go.
How Gen X Got Things Done Without the Noise isn't just a catchy title. It embodies the ethos of an entire generation. Born between the mid-1960s and the early 1980s, Generation X grew up in a world markedly different from today's digital age. With a mantra that could well be summed up by their approach, "We did not run our mouth, we just did it." This generation exhibited a unique blend of resilience, independence, and practicality. Unlike millennials and Gen Z, Gen Xers were the last to enjoy a childhood free from the internet's ubiquity, and the first to harness its potential as it emerged.
For a second I thought he was gonna start slandering Gen Z again, man. I'm just used to seeing Gen Z get slandered, so maybe I'm just projecting here, but maybe that's my snowflake nature, as some of you guys would like to say, right? But yeah, so far what he's saying about Gen X, man, I hear it. I think that's very true. Especially my parents are like a prime example of this, man. My parents are Gen X, so, and I know a lot of Gen Xers probably watching this will be able to agree with that as well.
Mantra that could well be summed up by their approach, "We did not run our mouth, we just did it." This generation exhibited a unique blend of resilience, independence, and practicality. Unlike millennials and Gen Z, Gen Xers were the last to enjoy a childhood free from the internet's ubiquity, and the first to harness its potential as it emerged. We'll explore 15 reasons why Generation X managed to get things done without the noise. 1. Fearless and adventurous. Gen Xers exhibited a fearless approach to life from a young age. They engaged in daring activities like standing on slippery roofs, riding in the back of pickup trucks without seatbelts, and jumping bike ramps without helmets. Their childhood adventures, from intense kite fights with razor blades to drinking from garden hoses, underscored a resilience and toughness. These experiences not only built character, but also instilled a sense of invincibility and the ability to thrive under risk. 2.
From the videos I've done, I can't agree with that even more. So like some of the things that you guys are doing, a lot of Gen Xers are doing when you were young, I can see that fearless attitude. Because nowadays, I mean, especially it's a lot harder for Gen Z to move like that when you're so constantly being poured with all this information and why it's bad for you and the effects that can happen to your, nervous system and your brain and all of this stuff. I am gonna also have to probably blur some of those pictures out because YouTube is getting a lot more sensitive these days, and I've already got a warning once, and if I get another warning for showing some of the things that a lot of Gen Xers did when they were kids, especially when they were kids, I'm gonna get a strike. So just for context, for those of you guys wondering why some of these things I'm not showing, that YouTube is just getting very sensitive these days.
Resilience as a creed. For Generation X, resilience wasn't just a trait, it was a creed. Phrases like, "suck it up, walk it off," or "we'll give you something to cry about," were not threats but lessons in toughness.
That's real talk, man.
This generation didn't just endure, they adapted and overcame without fanfare. They literally coined and lived by the phrase, "just do it." navigating.
I've seen a lot of these pics that he's showing as well that I've seen either on the Patreon or just through some of the videos. I'm also doing like a 1980s vlog, and there was a clip where he was showing with like Gen X was playing basketball and stuff like that. What like a literal live footage. So if you guys haven't seen that, definitely consider checking out my nostalgia vlogs playlist. And if you want to see my movie reaction, check out the Patreon. But just small.
This
plug,
generation
small plug.
didn't just endure; they adapted and overcame without fanfare. They literally coined and lived by the phrase,
Iconic
just
movie.
do it. Navigating life's hurdles not by dwelling on them, but by persistently moving forward, embodying a stoic determination that has defined their approach to life and work.
That's real talk, man.
Bridging tradition and technology. Generation X had a unique advantage. They learned traditional methods of completing tasks while also embracing emerging technologies. This blend of the old and the new enabled them to streamline and expedite processes through automation, giving them a pragmatic edge. Their understanding of both the past and the technological advancements set them apart, providing them with a comprehensive toolkit for problem solving and innovation. 4.
And that's a gift. Like I said, I've said it in previous videos, only Gen Xers can really hone that gift. You know, being born at just that point where you grew up just enough to see what life was like beforehand and get that real life perspective and insight and experience. And then you would have seen the transition into the technological advancement, the internet, all these things. So that just puts a lot of Gen Xers in a unique position that they can capitalize on, of having both worlds in their heads to help them with decisions that they're going to be making, which is why, again, man, Gen X is a very interesting generation.
Providing them with a comprehensive toolkit for problem solving and innovation.
Very unique.
4. Work ethic and accountability. The Gen X mantra was simple. If you want something, work for it.
Facts.
There were no shortcuts or free rides. From a young age, they learned the importance of hard work and the consequences of their actions, embodying the phrase, learned it the hard way. This generation was taught to respect authority and embrace accountability, qualities that shaped their professional and personal lives. Worldly and self.
Oh yeah, and I will say that attitude is changing now with a lot of Gen Zers getting into the workforce. I think with there being more of an onus on like mental health and this kind of work-life balance, and especially with this new rise of the internet and all these streamers and TikTokers like making money online and stuff like that, people's attitudes are starting to change, and I wonder how that's going to shape the landscape. I wonder maybe some of you guys may be able to share some insight on that, because you know, obviously, like you said, a lot of Gen Xers would have grown up in that time where you got work for you to get what you want. But I feel like that message doesn't go as far with future generations now, which is interesting, because obviously, yeah, different attitudes, different circumstances. Yeah, food for thought, man. It's something to think about. There'll be pros and cons to that.
Qualities that shaped their professional and personal lives. Worldly and self-made by 25. By the age of 25, many Gen Xers had already marked their passports with stamps from around the world, served in the military, and juggled multiple, often gritty jobs to make ends meet. This wasn't just wanderlust. It was a rite of passage that equipped them with a robust set of survival and professional skills. Their journey through higher education wasn't a guided tour, but a self-directed quest that made them ready to seize their career dreams without hand-holding. This self-sufficiency and worldly understanding starkly contrast with the modern youth, who want everything for free and already get a panic attack when they forget their cherry vape at home. 6. Grit.
See, I knew he was going to get some sort of flame. But yeah, obviously, I guess he's generalizing, right? I mean, this whole thing was going to be a generalization. Of course, there's probably going to be some Gen Xers that can't relate to some of these things, and there's going to be some younger generations that can't relate. So I hear it. There's a lot of Gen Zers that are like that, to be fair.
Already get a panic attack when they forget their cherry vape at home. 6. Grit and resourcefulness. Generation X members who grew up without MTV and luxury comforts exemplify sheer grit and resourcefulness, surviving on government cheese, limited to 3 TV channels, and lacking fashionable attire. These individuals didn't wallow in self-pity. They walked to school, hung out with whoever was around, secured jobs before turning 15, and fixed mopeds to broaden their horizons. Their lives were the epitome of living on a prayer and making the most out of the very least, demonstrating a relentless drive to push forward under any circumstances. 7.
Hey, that's some shout out to those, because I hear a lot of the whole MTV and how that shaped people and stuff like that. especially the Gen Xers watching when like in the 90s when that started to become more of a thing. I've learned so much on this journey, guys. Look, shout out to you guys who've been watching me from the beginning of this journey, because I went from wondering why there's kids on the roof because they had to fix the antenna, and me looking at how dangerous that was and getting shocked, and figuring out what kids were doing back in the day. I was shocked. To now I feel like I understand a little bit more, and I can actually make sense of it a bit more so, man. This is why I love having a curious mind and learning new things. But yeah, what you said there, like, I didn't realize, obviously not everyone would have had MTV and been able to go through these different channels. So the fact that a lot of people can relate to just that grit, shout out to you guys as well, man. Special shout out to you guys, man.
Strong family bonds and work ethic. For many Gen Xers, grandparents played a crucial role in their upbringing, especially for those who could have been latchkey kids but instead spent afternoons at their grandparents' homes. This daily interaction involved not just care and nurturing through simple routines, like sharing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but also participating in chores on the farm or at home. Such experiences deeply ingrained a strong work ethic and respect for hard labor, which became fundamental to their identities. 8.
That's facts.
DIY or die trying.
And again, I like this video's giving me a little bit of nuance here as well with again, not the Gen Xers that weren't latchkey kids that had their grandparents looking after them. See, I'm saying, I'm just like, there's definitely different lines here, and if like I said, if any of these are relating to any of you guys watching, definitely let me know, man. Definitely let me know.
Which became fundamental to their identities.
If this is true or
8.
not.
DIY or die trying. Generation X mastered the art of DIY long before how-to videos and online forums became the norm. When something broke, their first instinct was to fix it using whatever tools and materials were available, often with a hefty dose of creative swearing. This hands-on approach wasn't just about proving they could handle any problem thrown their way. It was a badge of honor that demonstrated their resilience and independence, embodying their self-sufficient, tough-as-nails attitude. 9. Blunt communication. Gen X communicated in a straightforward and direct manner. They valued clear, concise language and had little patience for ambiguity or fluff. This approach allowed them to cut through the noise and get to the heart of matters quickly, making them exceptionally effective in personal and professional interactions. Their no-nonsense style of communication fostered a reputation for reliability and integrity in an increasingly complex world.
Hey, and that's what you need, man. You need people that are gonna go straight to the punch, man. Just let's stop the waffle. Let's get to the meat and bones, man. We don't need all that fluff. And it's respectable. And that's why I always say I can appreciate, like, people just not only with that mindset. Obviously, he's talking about Gen Xers here, but people with that mindset. I feel like those are the types of people that I really want to keep around, because keep it real with you. Just give it straight to you. It might be a harsh pill to swallow, and some people might not like it. It might hurt them feelings. But me personally, I need people like that around me. That'll just give it to me straight, man. I don't need all that extra fluff.
For reliability and integrity,
keep it real
in an increasingly complex world.
We need that.
10. No tech, no problem. Gen X thrived in an era before digital dominance, where real-life experiences were valued over virtual engagements. If technological solutions were unavailable, they relied on resourcefulness and quick thinking to overcome challenges. This lack of dependence on technology cultivated a robust set of problem-solving skills that emphasized practicality and ingenuity, traits that have become increasingly rare in the tech-saturated environments of later generations.
And I would say, if it wasn't for me doing these videos, me personally, I probably would be a lot even more. This would range true even more so, and I can imagine not a lot of Gen Zers even downwards are really trying to learn these things, because you don't really need to. You got the internet and everything is so ingrained through the internet. So yeah, man, those skills are now starting to become more and more rare for sure. Definitely
have become increasingly rare in the tech-saturated environments of later generations. 11. Skeptics at heart. Raised amidst economic fluctuations and corporate scandals, Gen X developed a natural skepticism that made them question everything from advertising claims to political promises. This skepticism was not cynicism, but a practical approach to navigating a world full of mixed messages and hidden agendas. Their questioning nature empowered them to make informed decisions and often led them to carve out unique paths that defied conventional expectations. 12. Work hard, play harder. The Gen X ethos was all about embracing life to the fullest, working tirelessly to achieve professional goals while also diving headlong into recreational pursuits. They epitomized the work hard, play harder mentality, believing that the most memorable life experiences come from pushing boundaries and exploring extremes.
I can't show those
This
pictures.
intense approach to life ensured that they made the most out of every opportunity, both on the job and in their personal lives. 13. Networking without nonsense.
Okay.
Gen X built their professional networks based on genuine personal connections rather than digital interactions. Networking for them meant creating lasting relationships through shared experiences and mutual respect,
Right.
often solidified in face-to-face settings like business lunches or social gatherings.
Right.
This authentic approach to building connections ensured that their networks were comprised of strong, reliable bonds that stood the test of time. 14.
Not anymore. We're going to be networking through live Zoom chat soon. And who needs a deep, meaningful connection when you can just connect with thousands of other people on the internet and from another country, because there's everything so accessible now, which kind of does the opposite, right? It makes things less meaningful and less deep, more superficial. I guess Gen Xers probably won't have to deal with that problem as much, I guess, which is nice to see.
Comprised of strong, reliable bonds that stood the test of time. 14. Question everything. Gen X's inherent inquisitiveness drove them to question established norms and challenge the status quo. They refused to accept traditional answers without scrutiny, leading them to innovate and disrupt various fields. This questioning spirit not only fostered a culture of continuous improvement and creativity, but also prepared them to adapt quickly to changing technologies and market dynamics, setting the stage for significant shifts in business and culture.
Bro, you need
15.
people like that, man.
Valuing practical experience.
You just need people
Over
like that.
formal education, Generation X often valued practical experience as much or more than formal education. They were the generation that didn't necessarily see a college degree as the only path to success. Many entered the workforce early, learning trades and skills on the job that no classroom could teach.
Right.
This hands-on learning approach fostered a generation of self-reliant, versatile professionals who could adapt quickly to new challenges, troubleshoot on the fly, and innovate from a foundation of real-world experience. 16.
Hey, extra,
Cultural
extra
independence and innovation.
15.
Gen X came of age in a time of significant cultural shifts, leading the charge in music, art, and media. They pushed back
That's
against
right.
mainstream expectations by forging new genres in music like grunge and hip-hop and reinventing cinema and television. Their contributions didn't just change the entertainment landscape, they redefined cultural norms, championing diversity and complexity in a way previous generations hadn't. This independence and innovation in culture mirrored their approach in other areas of life, always challenging the established and making new paths.
Yeah, hey, what he was saying there, like, especially at the end, I think he summed it up quite nicely, man. Just the innovation, the complexity to that generation, how they think, which is interesting, right? Considering how a lot of people say they're forgotten about, but you can see the impact a lot of them will have, even if it's a silent one. It's there, man. And again, a lot of the things he was saying, like, this is why stuff like these traits that he was talking about. I'd love to know how true you guys think these are, and how much you guys feel like you may resonate with this, whether you're Gen X or you're not like Gen Xers, because I think a lot of these traits that you could associate with a lot of Gen Xers naturally, they're just good traits to have in general. Like, not accepting things blindly, being able to critically analyze things, being able to work on the fly, like learn practically, and not just through information that you're given, because there's information and there's things you're gonna only be able to understand truly when you do them practically. And like you said, if Gen Xers have that sort of mindset already, that's just gonna help them with those kinds of things, and that integrity, the networking, valuing these kinds of relationships, having that approach, in-person approach to things. Again, man, and it's kind of sad as well, because we're seeing that a lot of these things are starting to become less and less common with younger generations now that things are getting more infused with the internet. I want to see what the comments are saying. It says, we weren't cuddled, you do something stupid, dad laughs at you and says, I bet you never do that again, right? Like, you know, just you know, you learn through experience. If you F around and find out generation. Yeah, man. You know, Gen Xers, shout out to all my Gen Xers watching this. Very interesting generation. Obviously, my parents are Gen Xers, so it's like I'm also like semi-curious, even more so in that sense, because it makes me look at the world that my parents would have grown up in. Obviously, they're from the UK, but I think there's a lot of things that even in the UK is very similar to the US. I know this is based in the US, and I'm sure even some other, shout out to some of you guys maybe watching in maybe Canada, Australia, New Zealand, or the other English-speaking countries. I'm sure there probably would have been a lot of similarities there as well. So yeah, you guys let me know if you made this point, if there's a lot of truth to this, whether you agreed or disagreed with any of the things that were said in this video. Can you guys relate? Or are there any things that may have not been said that you guys think are also important? Yeah, let me know about some of the things, what you guys think about some of the things I had to say as well, if any of you guys want to weigh in on some of my perspective there. But yeah, guys, look, shout out to you guys that made this point, as always. Comment on a blue heart if you made this to the points. I know who my real ones are. Shout out to you guys. And yeah, of course, don't forget to like the video before you head on out. I know it's easy to forget. Check out a playlist I'll go at the end of the video where you can get more of these kinds of videos if you guys love these kinds of videos from me. And yeah, guys, look, that means I'm your boy JayFlex. This is me checking out how Gen X got things done without the noise. And for those guys who made this to the point, you guys have been absolutely wonderful. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.